We are live. All right. Um, all right, y'all. We're doing Tony Prediction Show. This is episode 206 of Take a Bow, but we're doing a very special episode of Take a Bow because we are collaborating with Take a Bow's favorite theater podcast. We have the Drama Boys, Connor and Dylan Macdowell, joining us today to talk about this season and the Tony Awards this year. So joining me today, as I mentioned, for our countdown to the Tonys are my favorite set of twins who host my personal favorite theater podcast, and they are the icons that is drama, and they both work in the theater community. So I'm so excited to talk about it, and it's my honor to welcome to Take a Bow, Connor and Dylan McDowell. Hi.
Hey, drama.
Drama.
Yes, drama.
Drama. Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
Eli, that is so sweet.
You're such a joy. You're such a nuggie, as Dylan and I like to say. Like you're a little nugget. Like we are.
Oh my God.
We're such fans of you, and we're stoked to be on your show on this very fun live aspect. Now, I don't know if people are actually hearing this or if they're watching it. My hair is resembling Ariana DeBose at like the Tonys last year.
Oh my God.
Like, it's kind of giving like this weird mohawk that, not that she's weird, but I mean, she's weird, but with love.
In a fun way.
But anyway, this is Connor speaking if you're hearing an audio version of this.
Yeah.
And Dylan.
And this is Dylan. I have to say, I feel like doing things live. I haven't done a ton of live stuff since, like, honestly, lockdown, when I feel like everyone was going live constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And so this concept of like anything can happen, can't edit it out. I might even say to you at times, Eli, like, we'll edit that out, even though it won't be edited out. It's fully going to remain on the show. I have to just, what were you going to say?
We can edit this out because obviously it'll be a podcast later and it'll go up on YouTube later as well. So even just like the 4 people that may tune in, which may be my mom, dad, and grandparents, they won't be the only ones that see the live of it all. We can edit anything else out in post.
We should have had our parents. We should have had our parents tune in, but well.
It's okay.
Would they know how to find it though? Is this like when you log on to Instagram? Is it showing like Instagram Live?
I don't even know. I know it's on YouTube as like, a YouTube feed, but
that's fun.
I'm trying to see because I'm still like new to this program, so I definitely want it to be live on Instagram as well, on like the Take a Bow page, but who knows if that's actually going right now. There's too many things to worry about right now.
Listen, I know, but you know what?
I admire that you're very cutting edge with podcasting and interviewing. And Eli, I have to say, I'm also a fan of your show. And what I love most is that we've had such crossover of guests that whenever we're having someone, I will often be like, did Eli have them? And I'll go and I'll listen, even if it's from years ago, as like a little bit of research, before, to make sure we don't ask the same things or to see what could be interesting in mind from it. So it's really helpful and fun.
I do the exact same thing because I just mentioned, I was talking to you guys earlier, we just recently had Leslie Kritzer on, and we released it at similar times, obviously in lead up to the Tony Awards. And she's Tony nominated this season, which we'll get to. And so, of course, like I was listening to y'all's episode before I was recording, and I was like, okay, what should I say? I got to delete this question. It was already answered, like type of thing. If you want to know this, go check out Drama. Like if you want to know more, type of thing. And I was wearing my Drama orange shirt today for my faves. So
I almost mentioned that when we were chatting before going live. That is really sweet. I'm actually rocking a Stereophonic t-shirt today. I'm a merch. I don't know if I can cuss on this, but I'm a merch bleep, and I love to get for my favorite shows different types of merch. And I don't love the color of this shirt. I wish it was just like black or something like that. But
I like it.
I love the show so much that I needed to rep it tonight on this live.
I love it. I think we know what some of these picks are going to be coming up here. Then. Okay, good to know.
I feel like I've loved this Broadway season and off-Broadway season in a huge way, and that like I haven't loved a season probably since like pre-COVID, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like, yes. I mean, I really love so many of these shows. This is kind of a hot take. This is not what I'm hearing from the street. But there are so many shows that I just wish could stick around for years and years because I want to see them again. I want to see new cast changes come through. I'm like extra excited to see what's going to happen on Sunday, and also even more excited to see what we're all going to say about these things in our chat today. Because
Yes.
I have to say, I'm a little blown away right now because I just feel like this whole season has been so depressing. Like, why am I leaving every Broadway show in tears? Like, why am I not like having a good time? I'm like, why? Like, usually I like to come out of theaters and my cheeks are hurting from laughter, and I think that's why I like Spam-A-Lot so much. But with everything else, I was like, oh, that was a lot. I need a nap.
Okay,
it has been a heavy season.
That's saying a lot about where my mental state has been. I've needed like a good cry this year.
Perhaps that'll do it.
Yeah,
it's funny you say that, Eli, because
though.
I think last year I remember loving all 4 Best Musical nominees so much. Shucked, Some Like It Hot, Kimberly Akimbo, and New York, New York. And I don't know, is that just 4? I feel like it was just the 4.
I think you're right.
And this year, I love some of the Best Musical nominees. And so that's kind of how I look back on a season, is like, what were like the new shows that came out that I really, really loved. And so looking back, I feel like the way that Connor just spoke about this season maybe is how I felt about last year. But that doesn't mean that I didn't love lots of different aspects of it. And there's 2 shows in particular that like I am obsessed with from this season, one of which is Stereophonic, but we'll get to the rest as it goes on. But
okay, great. Well, before we get into the Tony predictions and everything, for those of you, the people listening, and sort of like my viewers here on Take a Bow, why don't we get a bit of an introduction into who you two are? Obviously, as I mentioned, you both are theater podcast hosts, which obviously gives you the credibility to be here and giving Tony predictions. But you also both work in the industry. So why don't you tell everyone, what it is you do in the industry, and a little bit more about who you guys are and your relation to each other, in case people didn't already notice.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. Well, okay, Connor speaking. So Dylan and I are twins, grew up in Ohio, and we moved to New York together about 8 years ago. We've moved back and forth from Ohio a few times since in different ways. It's too confusing to kind of get into in this here. But we both worked in and out of like off-Broadway theaters, cabaret spaces. Dylan was at Fine Science 54 Below for years in the marketing team, and
now it's just 54 Below.
Oh, period. But I would say like something about me now is I work at an advertising agency in client services, and the agency specifically does live entertainment, and I work on Broadway, off-Broadway, and national touring shows. So specifically Wicked, the national tour of Wicked, and the Who's Tommy are kind of my big shows right now. But in the past, I was on Kimberly Akimbo and Top Dog Underdog, and I was on Jersey Boys off-Broadway, as well as many, many other things that I've touched through my day job. And then Dylan, do you want to say?
Yeah, so Connor mentioned I was at 54 Below for a long time. Like, it truly was where I cut my teeth. I interned there. I worked there full time as a marketing associate. And then also I was like, I kind of ran all the social media. And then that's what's led to my current position now. I have my own business. I do freelance social media for Broadway stars and small like theater companies. I might even run the pages of some of the viewers, listeners, favorite Broadway actor, and they don't even know that it's not really their favorite actor running their own socials. So it's really fun. And I know after the pandemic, I never returned to New York in a full-time capacity. I settled in Columbus, Ohio, which is where Connor and I went to college. And I'm here with my longtime boyfriend, recently crowned fiance, or recently named, I don't know. We got engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, it's been an exciting time. And the engagement did happen in New York, I will say, but which was fun. But so I do all that sort of remotely now. And then obviously through both of us working in the industry, having connections and talking about theater constantly, we sort of saw a gap in the market of what types of theater podcasts were out there. And we would ride the subway home to Harlem after seeing a show every night, and we would just be talking about, who we thought should be nominated for Best Featured Actress in a Musical or different things like that. And we thought, you know what? Like every friend group has said at some point or another, we should be recorded right now. This should be a podcast. And it took a lot of hard work on the back end before we actually had the courage to launch it. But in November 2019, we launched drama with Krista Rodriguez was our first guest, and now we're coming up on our 250th episode. Yeah, I know, a nobody, truly.
Yeah.
And we just thought if we're gonna launch, we want to launch with a bang. And like we've always like challenged ourselves. And I mean, you've always had amazing guests too, Eli. But what I love is like we'll have like legacy type guests and like legends, but also like rising stars. And there's truly like we're a weekly show, and so there's always going to be room for everyone. And so it's been a really fun and amazing journey. And here we are 4.5 years later, still loving bringing you drama every single week.
It's so funny because I feel like that's something that people always say to me is like, what happens when you like run out of guests? And I'm like, no, this industry, like we say it's super small, but there's a lot of people to talk to, you know, like it's crazy.
I know. That's so true. And like there's always new stars. Like, for example, like today we released an episode with Jason Schmidt from The Outsiders, and it's like he's huge, and I mean we're all obsessed, obviously. And
but like a year ago, he wouldn't have been on our radar or anything like that because we didn't know who he was. Yeah, so it's interesting.
The TikTok girlies are loving Jason Schmidt.
Yes. Why did you look at me when you said that,
Dylan? This is like so annoying for us to say, but Dylan, do you have a count of how many new Instagram followers we got today?
I would say at the time of recording, we had like 30 new followers based on him sharing one story from us alone today. And I was like, this is wild. This is so wild. Like, I wish it was that easy to get followers online.
I know.
Now, if only they'll turn into listeners is the true thing. But, you know, we'll see. They'll probably listen to the Jason episode at least.
That's the ticket. Hey, and then of course they'll fall in love with you guys because everyone who listens, it's impossible not to. Truly, you guys have such a well-rounded show, and it's not just Broadway, right? It's also like things that are just going on in the world today. You both have your little mini catch up with each other before the guests, you know, come in, which is always so fun. And then you get like a dose of drama, and you get to like share the tea that like I am oftentimes too scared to talk about. So like props to you guys.
Thank you. We're scared too. Yeah. I mean, you know, thank you so much. I can tell you're truly an appreciator of not only our show, but of the theater community in general, which is what my favorite kind of people to talk to. So
yeah,
I love it.
It's great.
We love doing it. We have a big announcement coming, y'all. So stay tuned. Make sure you all follow us. We have a big announcement coming in the next couple weeks. So.
I very exciting. And for those of you who missed it earlier, let's play it again. If you want to follow the Drama Podcast, follow them at the Drama Podcast right there. And that's like the same on all your socials, right?
Yeah, everything except for TikTok, which is just the Drama Pod. But that's an area that
the Drama Pod.
You know,
we need your help with TikTok.
Yeah, we need to talk. We need help with TikTok.
It appears to be the only thing that I can be helpful with. So I'm glad that's the one I can help with. I spend way too much time on there, so glad to be technical help if I can.
Well, and Eli, we need to have you on our show eventually because for many reasons. Not only are you killing it in the podcast field, but you're also a Broadway vet, and so there's tons of things I would love to chat with you about your performing days, which I hope aren't fully behind you.
Oh, no, definitely not. It's just sometimes I do think that was a different person, but that's okay. But it's okay. We're still finding it, and you know, it's fun to look back on those days and reminisce. That's what I like doing with the show. Oftentimes, it's like if I don't have like a big star on, I'm having like old cast members on, and it's just like us reminiscing. And I'm like, I don't care if anybody else is enjoying this. I'm having the time of my life, you know. Like if the listeners are just like, yeah, it's fun to look back and share those memories. And be like things that I completely forgot or like blocked out or didn't even realize because I was like 10, you know, like whatever. So it's weird to see. My first Broadway show, I was 11. But Mary Poppins, which was my first like national tour, was when I was 9, and then I turned 10 on it. So it's very crazy.
It's crazy,
but it's been a ride. From West Virginia to New York, you know, similar to the Ohio to New York for y'all. I love it. Well, Connor, you mentioned, you know, one of your big shows is Wicked. I saw that you were there for their big anniversary show that like
Yes.
Adina and everyone came back for. What was that like? I know we're so past that, but like that had to be so cool.
One of the most surreal nights in my life, in a way where I mean, Wicked was like everything to Dylan and I when
Yeah.
we were getting into theater, when we were, like 11, 12, 13, 14, like on the fan forums, like looking up all the different Glindas and Alphabas and pairings and who was the understudy that went on tonight and, all that stuff, like
Yeah.
obsessed. And then I feel like I went through high school, went through college, all that kind of got blocked out a little bit. And then as I entered the professional world and then I started working on Wicked, the memories kind of flowed in. And I was like, wait, this is such a crazy thing that I work on this show every single day.
Wild.
So, and the work is hard. Like it's really hard, working in advertising, et cetera, et cetera. So getting to be a part of the 20th, getting to be at the performance, at the party, celebrating with people that I've worked with, that I've been a fan of, meeting people that I've been a fan of.
Right.
Was one of the most surreal nights of my life. I mean,
who are you most nervous to meet?
Okay, so the people I was most nervous to meet, I did not speak to be honest
Okay.
with you. Because the girls, the Alphabas, the Glindas, they were all there. And they were having their moment. I mean, they had their glam, their gowns, their everything. I will say, this is like kind of silly. Julia Murney was there, and she did do our show in the first year, right, Dylan? Like it was probably summer 2020, or was it 2021?
I think it was summer 2021. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so year 2, but we'd never met in person, and she kept walking past me, and I was like, do I say hi? But I was so afraid that she wouldn't remember me from doing the pod that I like totally chickened out.
Yeah.
So, and I normally am like fine to run up to people. If Dylan was with me, I think I would have had more of a like.
Well, that's why I always lead with, "Hi, I'm Dylan. I don't know if you remember me. I did the podcast or whatever." You even if it sounds silly to repeat how they might know you, it's helpful for them,
Yeah, but it was so fun. That was truly like crazy night. There was a VIP. I don't know how much has been said about this party, like in the world. I feel like I'm an insider all of a sudden on like E-News, but there was a VIP section that I tried to get into, but it was like a barricade. It was insane. That's where Adina was. Also, fun fact, Adina shut down the night. She was there till the very end.
Love that.
Legend.
I mean, she was having the night. My favorite moment of the entire experience, though, was, oh my God, chills before even saying it. But the show's about to start. Everyone's in the theater. And all of a sudden, everyone stands up and there is a standing ovation for when Kristen and Adina entered the Gershwin. And wait, why am I getting like emotional right now? It was so surreal. I never in my life thought that I would see them in the theater, let alone then they get up on the stage for the curtain call. It was beyond. That was probably a career highlight, like industry highlight for sure. I'm thank you for asking about it, because I don't know that I've really fully
I don't think you did either.
So I need to talk to my
therapist. Are you serious? It's so freaking cool.
So crazy. Now the cast of Some Like It Hot did crash the party. That's another insider tea there.
How random.
I know. Random and fun. But
that is random. I wonder what the crossover is. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
But hey,
off the street.
Yeah, well, I mean,
or they knew everyone there. Yeah.
Period. But like literally, Wicked is everybody's introduction to theater. Like it seems like you don't really fall in love until you've listened to Defying Gravity. Like that's just like the reality. And then
100%.
compare everyone else's Defying Gravity to each other.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's kind of fun now with the movie coming out. Everyone was freaking out online when the trailer came out, and I thought to myself, wow, everyone loves Wicked, and Connor was saying like, it was our thing, like we loved it so much, but it was our thing, but it was everyone's thing. I love that we all share that Wicked was such a formative, Connor and I call it a Ring of Keys moment on our show. Like to many people, it's what made them fall in love with the arts. And I think that's really special, at least of our generation, which I'm going to group us in together, Eli, even though I know you're much younger than us, but that's okay.
Hey, no, I'm there. I love it. No, because it's fascinating, because like it's interesting to see the people who are like, I'm not a theater kid, like start to be like, oh, I'm excited for Wicked. You know, like,
Mhm.
and I'm
Of
like,
course.
are you now? I thought you
Right.
were a theater kid.
Yeah. You made fun of me back in the day for liking Wicked, and
Mhm.
now, interesting, you're
Maybe
retweeting the Ariana trailer. You know,
The
whatever.
truth
maybe
comes
Wicked
out.
will be this will make being a theater kid cool for all the kids in West Virginia and Ohio. Maybe Ariana and
I'm ready
well,
for it.
Ariana. Yeah, she's making it cool. I will say I saw a movie
She's-
on Sunday and I saw the trailer in the theater, which was absolutely epic. I mean, it was different than watching it on my cell phone, my iPhone, but
Yeah.
her voice, I wonder her speaking voice in the movie, I wonder if it's going to be extremely annoying because in the few lines that we get, she is putting on a voice and she's doing a little southern twang in it too with the enunciating. I wonder if I'll settle into the cadence or if it's going to be like so annoying.
I think you'll settle in. I think you'll
You
settle in.
think?
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
I feel like it's just
I'm ready
her,
to love.
right? Like she just has that voice, a pingy
Mhm.
voice.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, she does. And Cynthia is doing an American accent, and Jonathan Bailey as Fiero is being British.
No.
Yeah.
So they're really
I don't
letting
know.
them do different stuff here. But anyway,
Hey,
yeah, that
we're
was so
from all
fun.
over.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love
Oz
that.
is, yeah, love it. I guess I assumed they'd all have American accents for some reason. Like if they were making Cynthia do it, they make everyone do it. But anyway, fun.
Can we just talk about Cynthia being Elphaba?
I
Like,
know.
when's it gonna happen in New York? I need to see that live. Like, come on. I know it'll never happen, but that would be a dream to see that live. Just a full show of that.
I know.
Yes,
It feels
too.
like crazy that her only Broadway credit is The Color Purple, and then she came in, she won the Tony, and then became a huge star.
She said,
based
"Bye,
on that.
Felicia."
She
Be a
literally,
movie, going to make money.
yeah, because she hit the ground running immediately, and so I would love to see her come back to Broadway. I saw that when she performed with Ben Platt the other night. She said that was her first time back on a Broadway stage since The Color Purple, which is wild to me.
Wow.
Wow.
I guess
That
that's
is pretty
true,
wild.
wasn't it? Yeah.
So Cynthia,
what did they sing?
Oh wait, sorry. Go ahead.
What did they sing in that concert? Ben and Cynthia? Do we know? Let's look it up.
Happy Days Are Here Again, or Come On Get Happy.
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah.
right. That's right. So good.
Oh,
Okay. Anyway, what were we
that
gonna say,
was
Eli?
So good. My introduction to Cynthia was, so I was in the readings of The Greatest Showman, with like the movie that was eventually out, and she was Zendaya in the readings.
Okay.
And the fact that we were snubbed of that still aches my heart, because she like was the nicest person. I had no idea who she was, because like I was in Neverland at the time, and so like I wasn't seeing shows, and I was like, oh, like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. What's your name? She was like, I'm Cynthia. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. And everyone seemed to be doing shows. And so I was like, are you in a show right now? She was like, I am. And with her pretty British accent. And I was like, oh my God, you are? And she was like, yes, we actually have a Monday show. So if you'd like to come, I'll have tickets under your name at the box office. And I was like, since then, forever a fan of Cynthia.
Did you go?
Of course I went.
Good.
I was a Monday show. Who else was having a Monday show?
Wait, so was this
is
like the
epic.
readings that are then like now immortalized on YouTube with like Hugh Jackman?
Yes.
And okay,
Yes.
okay.
What was that?
So
Was
that
it from
the
now
final
on?
one.
Were they
That was the one
okay?
that got greenlit, I guess.
You're in that? Are you in the video?
Okay, so like the angle's weird, but there's a black and white giant, like New York Giants. I call it a toboggan. The word is beanie. So it's got like a little pom. So you can see the giant toboggan. I don't know if you'll be able to see me because I'm short and kind of blocked by the tall people. But you do see the beanie. And I am in fact in that room. I did all 3 of the readings, but that was the final one. They filmed that one, and that's where This Is Me was introduced. That's where the iconic Jeremy Jordan sang for Hugh because of his skin cancer, and like then got robbed of another role, of course, because our Lord and Savior Jeremy Jordan just is getting robbed left and right out here.
I know. That's
but
right.
It's okay.
He was so taken by the music that he had to.
Oh, Yes, but that's my king. I love Hugh.
Yeah.
Hugh is
Oh yeah.
a king, and he can sing anything. And I'm a forever fan of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
So
that was
amazing.
that. You have to understand, Eli. I mean, there were like a solid year or so that Dylan and I would be like pre-gaming to go out before we went out to the gay bars in our like mid-20s, and
stop it.
we would put that on.
It was
Like,
on.
I'm not kidding.
Both of them. The This Is Me and the From Now On. Us and our friend Hoot, who is
So
probably not listening,
good.
but we would have to watch it and it gets so emotional. I mean, it's an incredible. And Andrew Keenan Bolger's in that, right? And
Yes, yes,
a
it
few
was
other
so
people who had-
good.
Natalie Weiss, maybe.
Natalie Weiss was in it. Natalie
Mhm.
Weiss is the only reason I have a video of me singing "A Million Dreams" in that reading.
Oh my gosh!
Because
that was
she
you.
snuck a video. Yeah. And so that was crazy because that they didn't release like all the songs; they released those two.
Right.
And so I was always like, "Oh, I'd love to have a memory." And then like I had her on the podcast, and she was like, "Do you have like a version of you?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "I got you," and she sent it. And I was like, I cried to this day. I'm like, wow, when I was talented, isn't that crazy?
No.
You stop. You stop.
That's really special.
It is. It's very cool. But I'm very excited for that to come to Broadway eventually.
Yes.
You have to assume that's gonna.
It's knocking around. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's right at the doorstep here.
Mm-hmm.
All of these movies are becoming musicals. Let's be real. So like, why not have another one? Oh God. So I mean, speaking of movies being turned into musicals, it's literally the 2024 Tony season. Should we talk about it?
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into it. Where do we want to start?
I don't know. Let's start here. Should we go into performances first, and then we'll save like the big best musical and all of that for last?
Yeah, that's our favorite thing to talk about, performers. So
oh, good. So let's get into it. Let's start with actresses first. So best leading actress category. We have Eden Espinosa, Lempica, Malia Joy Moon, Hell's Kitchen, Kelly O'Hara, Days and Wine and Roses. And now I'm finding on the paper since the graphic went away. Who else do we have? We have Marianne Plunkett on The Notebook and Gail Rankin, Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. What are we thinking from this category here? Does anyone want to go first? I don't know how y'all want to do this.
I'll just say this. I think it is truly up in the air. Like this category is one of the ones that we're all going to be waiting for on Sunday that we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I had big ideas about where this was going like 6 months ago, 3 months ago. And now, now I have like who I want to win and who I have a feeling is going to win. But I will say, if there is justice in the world, and if Days of Wine and Roses was still running, I do believe Kelly O'Hara would be winning her second Tony.
Yes.
I do think.
I didn't get to see Days of Wine and Roses, but you didn't? Yeah.
No.
But everything I heard was like, you talk about a show you like left bawling your eyes out. Like that was it. And those two performances were unbelievable.
They were both sensei. I did go. Oh, they were.
You did?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was one that really sat with me. Like when I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I love it. And I still don't know if I love it, but I do think it was really well done. And the two of them, and like I said, it sat with me. Like as the week went on, I was like, it was actually really well structured. Like the story was really well told. In fact, I didn't think it was like overly heavy-handed in its display of alcoholism or like how you're supposed to or not supposed to feel about it. Which I know sounds silly when it's like the central plot of it, but I guess you'd have, yeah. Anyway, Kelly was beyond. I mean, she was crazy. I was convinced she was going to win, and who knows? She won the drama desk.
Really?
She won the drama desk.
Very exciting.
She's been
sometimes
nominated
telling,
right?
Sometimes.
And however, because it's closed, I just don't think it's happening. So do you want me to say my pick, or do you guys want to say like other things?
Yeah.
I don't know how to like do it. I don't want
to say your pick. Just say your pick. And
I also have my other hot take about this category is if the Tony voting happened and closed in those 2-3 weeks when Lempicka was like on the word on everyone's lips, I honest to God think Eden had a shot, because no one, actually, I would even argue, of the people who were even still nominated, I don't think anyone was talked about as much as Eden was in Lempicka. And I don't truly, I don't think any other performance has as much buzz, has as much anything than she did in that time period. Do I think she's going to win? No, but I think she maybe had a shot during that time period. But Gail Rankin is my choice. I am gagged for her in Cabaret.
Oh,
I
that was
loved
left
her.
field.
It's so left
I
field.
know. It's so left field.
You just did not talk about her, and then it was like,
No, Gail is. I'm gagged for Gail, as I've been saying for the last month and a half. But I think she was a different Sally. She was a devastating Sally. I can still hear her British accent saying some of those lines where she's like, "Oh, Clifford, you're going to break my heart, aren't you?" You know, stuff like that. And she'd like, there's this. I'm being insane tonight. There's this other line where I don't know Cabaret. You know, I actually have a terrible memory, but she has this line at the end where she's like, "Funny how it always ends this way, doesn't it?" When it's like her and
something like that.
Finley.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I thought she was sensational. I think Gail is my pick.
Wow.
How do I get
someone
to
else is
see
gonna win?
you
Anyway, someone else go.
in that performance
you say?
was delightful.
I know Connor was coming
Wait,
for the Tony as
are
well.
we-
Should I understudy her?
Booked. Say less. we'll put a word in.
Has an actress
Dylan.
who's played Sally Bowles ever won the Tony? They have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the
Natasha
MC
Richardson
wins.
won. Yeah, she won in like the 90s revival. I only saw Malia, Marianne, and Gail, and I have to say, like, one of the highlights of the whole season was Marianne Plunkett's performance in The Notebook. And I know that she has a Tony already as well. And because I don't think that The Notebook is going to really walk away with any awards other than maybe this one, I do think that I would give it to Marianne. I love the story behind it, that she's, you know, a grand lady of the theater returning, having won her Tony like 30 or 40 years ago, and now her being back on stage. I also love the idea that it's a mostly, she doesn't sing until the end. You know, it's a mostly spoken role, like that winning this award can mean anything. And I really, really think that she's a powerful player in this whole category. And if I had to choose, especially based on the ones I'd seen, I would pick Marianne.
Wow. I am, as Connor would say, gagged.
Yes.
But okay. I love that we're all divided here, though. Hopefully one of us win, because if none of us win, this is crazy. I have Eden because I've literally not seen a single one of these shows, and we may or may not be having an episode with her coming out very soon. So I may have been partial bias. I also just love the fact of Eden's story, and you can kind of go off of Gail, right? In the sense, like, Gail, she made her Broadway debut 10 years ago in Cabaret, and then now she's back on Broadway 10 years later in Cabaret. And similar to Eden, I mean, Eden, fan favorite on Broadway, hadn't performed in 10, 11 years on Broadway. And here she is now back on the stage in a no joke of a role, and telling a queer story. And like, it was beautiful, like from the clips that I got to see and the what everyone's saying. So, and as Connor mentioned, it's just highly talked about. So I'm very excited. Hopefully rooting for all of them, because Kelly O'Hara's previous guest, Malia, is a good friend of mine. And
no way.
Gail, we did the red carpet. Yeah. So I don't know. The only one that I don't have any association with is Marianne, but shout out Marianne, because I hear she's lovely too.
I have to say, I do think that Malia is probably going to win. I see a lot of momentum behind Hell's Kitchen, and she is fantastic in that show.
The moment.
I wish the show was better, but I think that she really could win.
Dylan's ready today, Eli. You're not.
I'm
Dylan
ready.
is like,
I love it.
He was like, I'm going to be like honest, because on our show we don't review
drama.
I mean, we say what we like. Yeah. Even though the show's called drama, we don't necessarily get into the drama, because how do I say it? We're more like a radio chat show. Like, it's not a
right. We're chatting with our guests about their career and what they're currently working on,
like,
but we're not critics.
So it's
No.
fun for us to get to do a little critical analysis here.
Well, let's
I
be
also think
critics.
Malia's going to win. I think Malia's going to win.
Okay, so Connor's predicting everybody in this
I
category
know.
wins. Great.
Well, let me just say, okay, had Days of Wine and Roses been running, it would have been. I think it would have been Kelly. Had voting happened and closed while Olympia was still running, Eden. I want Gail to win, and I think Malia is going to, just based on all that. It's always interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling.
So do we have a final pick there? Is it Malia or is it Gail?
Want to win Gail. I think we'll win Malia.
Malia. Okay.
So, but I'll
Good
still
to
just
know.
I'll vote for Gail because I don't really care about getting points. But
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is great. I love it. It'll be interesting. Because I feel like this is there's maybe a couple more that are like the biggest toss-ups.
Yeah.
And this is definitely one of them. All right. Should we go to best actor now of a musical? Leading actor, I guess.
Totally.
Because there's all sorts of different categories. Jay Groff King, Brody Grant, Brian Darcy James, Eddie Redmayne, and Dorian Harewood. I think I'll take the start on this. I really just need to see more shows next season because again, only saw Merrily in this category. But I have Eddie Redmayne in this category.
Ooh,
I don't know if that's a popular opinion. What I've seen from him, and even like on the red carpet, because I was able to go to the opening night of it, and you could slowly, with every minute that passed, see him start to like slip his accent in and like become the MC. It's bonkers what he's doing and this role and how crazy of a role it is, especially with the new revised version of the show. And I didn't get to see Brody in The Outsiders. I saw the understudy. I was there the
right.
same
That
night
night
as
we
Connor.
were there. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm having a hard time picking him because I haven't seen him. And then I mean Jonathan Groff can do no wrong. But I have Eddie. Yeah, I don't know.
I love that you have
what's
Eddie.
the stop?
He is one of my all-time favorite actors. Like, I absolutely love Eddie, and I loved him in Cabaret. And
They brought him from the West End for a reason, right?
Right. I
Like-
really, my choice is John Groff, though. I have to say he is another one of my favorite actors, but in a different way. I just love him, and I thought that his performance in Merrily was so brilliant and so nuanced, and it's hard to root for a character like Frank, especially due to the structure of the show. And for some reason, I still did, even though I didn't agree with a lot of his choices or his words or the behaviors. But I think it's just that this charisma that Jonathan has. It was just really a remarkable performance, and I would love for him to win. He's been in this community a long time, and I mean, same can be said about like Brian Darcy James and Dorian Harewood though as well. But I think this is Jonathan Groff's year.
Totally agree. It's Groff. I think he's winning.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think he's winning. I think I would be shocked if he didn't. Like, I think it would be a huge upset. I really do.
Wow.
This much loved revival of a show that was considered a flop. Like, he's Broadway's sweetheart, and I think it's his year. It's his time. To quote.
I love that.
Yeah. Loved Brody. Eli, I think you would have loved Brody too, though. I know. I'm sad you didn't get to see him.
I know. I'm very upset that I didn't get to see him, and I definitely have to go back. We'll get to The Outsiders in a second, but yeah. I think I need to see that show again. I will leave it at that. I love that Jonathan Groff with the consensus between the twins. I mean, fan favorite. So
Totally.
Hopefully everyone will be happy if he does win. Great. All right. Well, that was quick. Good work, guys.
A little bit more cut and dry.
No, I mean,
I'm regretting, and this might be a theme. I'm regretting Gail all of a sudden, and I like want to
stick to your guns.
I'm thinking now. I wonder if it's Kelly. I think maybe my pick is Kelly. Let's let it simmer, and I'll come back. Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, go on.
Whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do. It's great. All right. Should we go to featured actor now?
Because to featured
Oh,
actor. Yeah.
should we do leading actors in the plays, or should we just do musicals? We can focus on musicals.
We can put some
Doesn't
musicals
matter.
for
Yeah.
now.
Finish
We'll see
musicals
how-
and then
yeah.
Okay, great. All right. I think this is. Oh yeah,
Wow.
this is it. Okay, actor in a musical. Hey guys, here we are. Roger Bart, Back to the Future, Joshua Boone, The Outsiders, Brandon Victor Dixon, Hell's Kitchen, Skylar Coda Lynch, The Outsiders, Daniel Radcliffe, Merrily, Steven Skybell, Cabaret. I think this may be a quick category. What's everyone's thoughts here?
I have so many thoughts. I'm suddenly like,
Oh, really?
I'm annoyed at myself right now because there's a couple nominees I would swap out and put people in.
Yeah, I
Okay.
agree.
And
This
that's why I'm feeling
category,
conflicted about it. Yeah, like there's so many nominees, but with love, I say with love in my heart, and I obviously do my podcast. That these boys that I'm about to say your names do my show. Like, please, please, please. I don't say it because of you. I actually, with these two that I would swap out, I'm saying it because I just don't think the material that they were given necessarily warranted a nomination. I think they were nominated for other reasons. And those reasons being, okay, Sky and Outsiders, I love you. But if I were to nominate another guy from The Outsiders, well, Joshua Boone's incredible. Definitely keeping him in there. And Sky, you're great too. But I think Brent Comer as Daryl gets so much of the emotional material. He really drives the story forward in such a huge way. Whereas Johnny is not as active in it as I wish he was. But Dylan, you just read the books. Maybe you can speak to it more. Brent Comer is giving a stunning performance in Outsiders. I mean, he gets to sing more than Sky does, and the character itself just really is so much.
I want to interrupt you. I don't think it's necessarily a Brent versus Sky thing. I think
No, it's the characters. Like,
I think that like
100%.
Brent could have also been in this category. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you need to remove Sky to put Brent.
Sure.
in.
I guess I was thinking about it in a way like if I were to swap out
an
outsider, because if they're picking two, and yeah, I don't know. This guy's amazing.
This is a healthy debate. This is a healthy debate because I like want to like call my mom into this room right now, because for days after I saw The Outsider, I was like, why didn't I cry when Johnny died? Like, I should have cried. Like, there wasn't enough Johnny to make me cry. And I was like, the movie, the book, like, I fell in love with Johnny. Why did I not fall in love with Johnny tonight? Like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And it was totally a written directorial choice and the material, you know, like, it was nothing against the performance. I didn't even see Sky. So like, totally agree with it was a lack of material for Johnny. And I have a major gripe about that.
I think I'm sure he got the nomination. Other than being super talented, I'm sure when voters were like, okay, we love The Outsider, or nominators were like, we love The Outsiders, we're like, okay, he gets the Stay Gold song. He dies.
Yeah.
There's like, how can we not?
Spoiler alert.
I know. Sorry, y'all. So that's my dose of drama early, is that Brent Comer deserved to be nominated. And also, I would swap out, okay, if we're taking out a couple people here, I don't think Brandon Victor Dixon got enough to do in Hell's Kitchen. And also the character was kind of just,
he did get some of the best songs, I think. And that's maybe what people remembered. I think that this category was missing Paul Alexander Nolan from Water for Elephants. He has been so overdue for an award after all these years. I personally would have nominated him for Slave Play a few years ago, but I'm, obviously I'm not a nominator. But as far as who I think should win and will win is totally Daniel Radcliffe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait, say it again. Don't I cut
Daniel
you off?
Radcliffe, who obviously another Merrily We Roll Along, and he's amazing in this show. He's been amazing to the Broadway community for years. I've heard phenomenal stories about when he was in How to Succeed. And then obviously he did Equus as well. I think that this is just a really awesome moment. And he's never missed a performance that wasn't pre-scheduled, which I know that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but I just love his dedication to the craft.
Yes. And that's why I thought this was going to be a very fast category. I mean, a consensus. I feel like amongst like all of Broadway at this point, it seems to be Daniel Radcliffe, and I couldn't be more on board. His song, oh my God, what is it called?
Franklin Shepherd Inc.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's absolutely like I was right. You could have ended the show on that. I was like, I got a price of admission right there. Like
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. So a big fan of Daniel Radcliffe myself, and he is my prediction as well.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm predicting
Connor-
him too. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I would
We
predict.
got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Got it.
We're
I've
aligned.
never
This is our first one. We're all aligned.
It's got to be, right? I would be shook if he didn't win.
Yeah.
You never know how these things are going to go, though. I mean, just because the nominators loved a show we've seen before doesn't mean the voters will love it equally. So
Yeah.
I think Daniel's going to win.
I think it's gotta be Daniel. Well, the other thing too is like with the outsiders, and this is something that like I see this with like a lot of categories moving forward, even is like when there's multiple from the same show, like I worry that they're gonna take votes away from each other and kind of like wash each other out almost. So I feel like that's another reason. I loved Joshua Boone in The Outsiders. And I feel like if he like does win, I will not be mad about it. But like at the same time with Sky being in there, I'm like, that kind of washes. So I'm going Daniel full confidence, you know?
Oh yeah. And in a different year, I do think Steven Skybell would have had a shot. He was fabulous in Cabaret.
Oh yeah.
They all are great. I mean, there's so many. And you know what? Another person I would have nominated in this category. I'm being so annoying tonight. I can tell Dylan's annoyed with me. He's like, okay. Ricky Ubeda in Illinois, who I think would have been considered featured, if only because it's so ensemble. He will break your heart. I mean, a different kind of performance, obviously, in that he doesn't speak, but stunning. I think that's a big snub for me. But anyway,
wow, interesting. All right,
I'm crazy.
No, it's great. This is good. It seems to be like you're like the only one that's actually seen the shows. So it's good to get it's good to get the opinion. Let's move to featured actress in a musical. There's lots to talk about here. There's lots of people.
Epic category.
Epic and could have had about 10 more nominees. So here's the graphic here. We have Shoshana Bean, we have Amber Iman Limpika, Nikki M. James Suffs, Leslie Rodriguez Kritzer, Spamalot, Keisha Lewis, Hell's Kitchen, Lindsay Mendez, Marilee We Roll Along, and BB Newworth, Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club. Lots to talk about. It's a stacked category.
I know. So stacked. Gosh. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Shoshana Bean is winning.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
I love it.
Yeah.
My pick is BB Newworth in Cabaret.
Ooh.
Well,
love.
We're all divided here again. I have Leslie. I got to stay true to the people that were willing to come on the podcast.
Yes.
Oh, shoot. I changed my mind. Actually, Leslie.
Leslie, we love you.
We do love you.
Yes.
Love.
Well, I mean, Shoshana Bean, that's my queen. You know, like I adore everything that she does. She's one of the nicest people in the world. It's the same thing. Like I feel like if you could give it to Shoshana or you could give it to Keisha. You know, like both of them are phenomenal. And that's why I struggle picking the Hell's Kitchen, just going back to earlier with The Outsiders. I knew there was another category that happened. I'm so glad it was the next one, so I didn't sound like a loser for too long.
No.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that's like a real thing, but I would be thrilled if Shoshana did come away with it because icon, and she like so deserves it.
Oh, and she devours in this show. I mean, I mentioned earlier that Brandon Victor Dixon gets the best songs. I actually think that it's Shoshana that gets the best songs in this show. And she has a show-stopping moment that I think makes zero sense in the context of the show, but she eats down in this song in Act 2 that I was like, oh, like this is what she is born to do. And I'm so glad that she was recognized. I didn't get to see her in Mr. Saturday Night, which was her previous nomination in the same category. But I'm so glad that I got to see this and that she was amazing. Leslie,
I feel like we need a whole. She was so good. I feel like we Dylan could do a whole like podcast episode on his thoughts about Hell's Kitchen. There seems to
I-
be a lot going on. This is crazy.
I know I've yet to talk about it on drama because we haven't had the
It's
chance to
great.
yet.
I
But,
know.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'll
y'all.
talk about it more when we get to the best musical race.
I'm only going to mention this
Okay.
because we were just talking about Daniel for Merrily. Do we think Lindsay? Something tells me
know.
she could win. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I'm a little less on her than the other two. Maybe it's because the big category is so stacked. But what do you guys think about Lindsay and Merrily?
I think she's phenomenal, and I would not be shocked at all if all three of them came away with the Tony Award.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like too, if you like give it to Jonathan and Daniel, it's like, how do you not also give it to Lindsay, because she's just as important and so complimentary to their, like, they all three don't have that stunning performance without the three of them. Like, their relationship just comes out on stage, and that's what is so special about the three of their performances.
Mhm.
So it's funny because I thought, like, I couldn't give it to Jonathan because I wasn't going to give it to Lindsay, because I was like, if I pick those two, how do I not pick Lindsay? So I don't know. Like, I could definitely see it happening. What are your thoughts, Dylan?
I don't know. I could see it totally happening as well. You know, she does have a Tony already, which I don't know if that comes into consideration when voters are deciding. But I think that, like, she had her, like, big splashy moment with, I mean, she's obviously freaking fantastic in this show. Like, I mean, if she wouldn't have been in when I saw the show, I would have been like, well, I need a refund. I need to come back and see her when she's back because I love her that much. But I could just see, you know, whereas with Jonathan and Daniel, both of them are a little bit, I don't just want to say overdue, but like they have yet to receive their Tony. And in this category, I think they have an opportunity to give it to somebody who hasn't necessarily gotten one. Granted, I did say BB should get it, and she, of course, has her Tonys. So, I mean, you know, who can say?
I know, it's so tough. This is another toss-up, I guess, in a way.
It is. It totally is.
The
BB
actresses.
hurt my heart.
I know.
She, I haven't seen Cabaret, but she was the only cast member. This is my maybe daily dose of drama. She's the only cast member that didn't do interviews on the opening night red carpet.
Oh,
And I was like, ooh, BB doesn't want to promote her show. Okay.
Yeah, maybe she was saving it for the show. She was saving it all for the show, I guess.
She was saving it.
That's so good.
Hey, respect. If we're on vocal rest before the show, I love that for you.
Absolutely.
Go off.
Absolutely.
That would be nice to know.
Yeah. I think it's
right.
between those, though. I don't necessarily know if Nikki M. James, another previous winner, if this is her year in that category, in this category with that role. And then I didn't see Amber Iman, but I do love her voice, and I think she's a phenomenal performer.
So good.
She was great.
So good. I love it. All right. Well, there you have it. I mean, that's the performers. Do we go into plays? Like, do we leave plays? We're already going long.
I say we just talk about musicals tonight.
I'm with you.
Musicals. Okay.
Because there's just so much to talk about.
There is.
I mean, don't even get me started on who's winning featured actress in a play. So we'd actually be here all night, to be honest.
Obviously, Stereophonic is my girl, and so
we'll definitely talk about best play. So we'll have a stereophonic chat. Okay. So should we go into score next? I want to go into score. And I don't mind. Does anyone want to take the lead on this? I don't mind taking the lead on it if y'all want. I thought I had a score graphic. Maybe I don't have a score graphic. Oops. All right. Well, either way, best score: Days of Wine and Roses, Here Lies Love, The Outsiders, Stereophonic, or Suffs. I mean, maybe the shirt may be telling, maybe not for this category. I don't know, but I think I can predict Dylan's. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know who to go here. I have a problem with picking scores that are like from, like, I like the original, like, just like, and it's the same with like best new musical. Like, I have a hard time picking The Outsiders because it's not like original. And so I have a hard time doing that with the score too, even though there was no music in the Outsiders movie. I don't know. I don't know. I just have like something in me. So I'm gonna go. I was between Suffs and Stereophonic, and I think I'm gonna go Suffs. Because that music is just, I love it. A lot of people, are like, oh, this is like the female Hamilton or whatever, but like it's so not, and it's so different that I feel like Shayna deserves a lot of credit for writing the book and the music and lyrics, like everything, just the way that she crafted Suffs, and that's the whole show, I think is absolutely brilliant. And I'm a huge fan of hers and that entire show and everyone in that show. Star-studded cast. Talk about more people that could have been nominated.
Yes.
Colella, Hannah Cruz, all of them. Phenomenal. So I want Suffs to get some credit here at the Tony Awards on Sunday. So I'm going Suffs. What are y'all's thoughts?
You kind of sold me.
I think I'm pretty much on board. I think I'm pretty much on board with you as well. Granted, I listen to Stereophonic every day, but I think the problem being, I don't know if, who knows? I'm not a voter. So like, our voters going to choose a play? Has that ever happened? I don't think it has. Especially maybe it has if there were no new musicals and it was, the category was light, but I do think that Suffs is going to take this one for all the reasons that you just said. And it is really great. And Shayna is so talented. And if anything, let her have this, because I want more from her. I want her to I want this to open up more doors for her. I want her to be writing music for movies in the way that Lin-Manuel Miranda is. If we're going to compare the two, But I hope she does more Broadway though, because she's phenomenal.
I'm picking Outsiders.
Period.
Yeah. I love it. I listen to it like every day. I'm obsessed.
The whole album?
Okay, not all. I skip around.
See, that's key. There are skips.
There are skips, but only based on my mood. See, that's my kind of vibe though. Like I love like a moody.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. That is a really good question. I actually need to listen to Suffs again. I haven't heard the cast album, but I heard it sounds. People are loving how it sounds. That it turned out great. I'm gonna go with Outsiders though. I will.
Love it.
Yeah.
Favorite Outsider song? Go.
Throwing in the towel.
We can do a round table. Oh, period. Jason. Dylan, I want to hear yours too.
Oh, you know what? I do listen to Tulsa 67 all the time. Like Brody's voice is just beyond on that, and it's just really well structured.
Yeah,
Brody's voice is so beyond on every freaking song, dude. Like it's crazy. Great.
You've got to go back. That
is not. It shouldn't be legal. I was hearing like how the rehearsal process was going, and it was so funny that they had all these songs written, right? And I even actually I went in and auditioned for the Outsiders, and these songs were not this high. And I was talking around because the orchestrator who's nominated, Matt Hinckley, was the same for Finding Neverland. He was the assistant and then eventually took over. And he was saying the whole rehearsal, he was like, can we just try another step up? And then they were like, yeah, sure. And then he'd go, all right, one more. And it just kept going up. So
intel I'm living for.
Freaking Brody Grant is a freak of nature and a voice of an angel. So shout out.
I have to tell you, he sounds incredible on the album, but there is something about his the texture to his voice live that really moved me. Right, Dylan? I mean, we were both
without a doubt.
It's kind of like hearing Leah Michele live when you had, on Glee, you hear
that's major.
Well, not in the same tone and stuff. I guess I mean in the way that we were so used to how perfect they made her sound on Glee, and then you heard her in Funny Girl, and you could hear the imperfections in her vocal, and it was beautiful imperfections. We're she's really got this emotional voice that in a different way than we heard on Glee. But anyway,
that's an interesting comparison. But I think
comparison. But Dylan gets it. I don't.
It wouldn't be a podcast without Connor mentioning Leah Michele at least one time. So
I love it. No, it's so good. I love the comparison. I feel like if Brody was listening to right now, he would be thrilled. Are you kidding me? That may have just told him to come on Drama.
Yeah.
Eli, we try.
The ask is out. The ask is out.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah,
Trust.
yeah.
You know how it
That's
goes.
awesome. That's great. Well, who knows? Maybe that's the selling point. There you go. I also love throwing in the towel, by the way. As far as favorite songs of the Outsiders, that meaning is it hits home. So
Oh, for
I
sure.
love it. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, how can it not? All right, let's go now to. Do we want to just go into? Oh, maybe we'll do director, choreography, and then we'll do best plays, revivals, etc.
Cool.
Let's do best director of a musical. Here we go. Maria Friedman, Merrily We Roll Along, Michael Greif, Hell's Kitchen, Lee Silverman for Suffs. And now I have to find it on my sheet because I should have done that when we started. Jessica Stone, Water for Elephants, and Danya Tamor, The Outsiders. Thoughts?
I mean, it's Maria Friedman's to lose, in my opinion.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
We've seen a trend
the
these
one.
last couple of years that this Tony tends to go to directors of revivals, and also she has sort of created this celebrated production of what Connor mentioned earlier as a flop musical that now people love, and I think that it's, you know, what she did is a miracle, in my opinion, and I love her choices. I love the way that, from what we got to talk with a few different cast members, chiefly Katie Rose Clark, who talked about the rehearsal process, and I just love everything I'm hearing. And I think that it's her time. Another Merrily reference.
Oh goodness, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm with you. Consensus. I love it. I feel like this is one of the categories that I think it's pretty obvious, right? I feel like not to say anything against the other directors because they're all phenomenal, literal legends of our industry. But I feel like for all the reasons that Dylan mentioned, that I mean, it's kind of hard not to give it to Maria here. Okay, well, that was quick enough. Should we go to choreography?
Yeah,
Cruising right along, folks. I don't think I uploaded my choreography one. Okay, so choreography, we have Justin Peck for Illinois. We have Jesse Robb and Shanna Carroll for Water for Elephant, Rick Cooperman and Jeff Cooperman for The Outsiders, Camille A. Brown for Hell's Kitchen, and Annie B. Parsons for Here Lies Love. Well, there's a couple. Okay, I'm going to take the lead on this one because just thoughts off the dome, because as I was saying it, they were coming in, they were flooding. You could easily give it to like the Cooperman brothers for like that fight alone, right? Yeah. Like, am I crazy for saying that? I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's so beautiful, that fight scene, that it's just like hard for me not to give it to him, but I am going to go away from it. And I'm going to do Justin Peck for Illinois. What are y'all's thoughts?
Completely agree.
I completely agree. My only thing is, because Illinois is like fully dance the whole time, and like it is the piece, are people going to think about like, okay, this is best choreography for a musical, what's elevating the piece rather than what is the piece? Like, how are people going to think about this when they vote for it? Now, I mean, Illinois is my pick, but I don't know. Like, will they pick something else? Because, am I making sense in my thought there?
Well, there's an argument for every other category, because, like, for example, with Water for Elephants, there's the sort of the cirque and acrobatic piece that you can add to it, and like Eli mentioned, there's that whole rumble that happens, which I've never seen anything like that on stage before.
And the brothers, Dylan, which we love a brother duo working together.
We do. And Camille A. Brown, I mean, she is a genius choreographer and everything that she does. And there are some really great movement pieces in Hell's Kitchen, but I just think that Justin Peck, it's untouchable what he does with Illinois.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be what it is without him.
Stuffs was robbed. When they march forward, when they want their great-great-granddaughter to know.
Oh, you're terrible.
Girl, I'm being funny. Actually, I love it. It's so good. Stuffs was well directed, by the way. Which we didn't talk about it in the last one, but very well. It flowed very well.
Oh, totally.
I think I'm going with Peck. Justin Peck.
Love it. I'm with you. Like, I feel like to go off of like kind of what your argument was, as opposed to like lifting up the piece and what is the piece. it's an interesting point, but for like, I don't know, I kind of thought of it because of like that is the piece. Like it
Yeah.
is choreography. No other show has that much choreography, and the choreography does like tell the story. Like it is still the show. So I
And it
don't
does
know.
it so
So I
well.
feel like there's two. I know, and it does it really beautifully. So
Oh,
I feel like it's kind of like a two-sided thing, right? Where it could be because of it is the whole thing, or because of the whole thing, maybe they wanted something, a little mixture.
gosh,
So
now I'm thinking
it's
if
interesting
Illinois
to see that.
loses, that would be kind of crazy. People would be like,
Right.
"Oh shit, it's a dance piece and it lost the choreography, Tony."
Yeah. I don't think
That
it's
would
gonna
be
lose, but
wild.
yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
wild. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Not impossible, because
Not
there
impossible.
are so really strong shows in the category. That I feel
Remember when
like
I was
it's
being
gotta be.
stupid about stuff? So I was being funny. I
No, I loved it. It was
fun.
great. Hey, that is choreography that I could do. So I'm down and rooting for that choreography. Let's normalize
Yes.
that on Broadway. Let's
Yeah,
get
there
some
we
more
go.
marches. Come on now.
Oh,
I
that's
love
funny.
that.
I love that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh my god.
That's like, wasn't Dear Evan
Great.
Hansen nominated? Wasn't Danny Mefford nominated for Dear Evan Hansen? And I'm always like,
I don't know.
what
Was
was
it
the
actually?
choreo? And it was like,
Well,
when
we were walking around the virtual screens,
That's
like
true.
I had to
Right.
duck and dodge,
You're right.
That's true.
You're right.
That's true.
Okay. Give it to that.
Oh
I need
my
to fact check
God.
that. But anyway.
That's iconic. All right, well, let's go into the best revivals, and then we'll get into best musicals and plays. We'll save the best for last, I guess you
Yeah.
could say, or the biggest for last. All right, so best revival of a musical. Here we go. We have Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, Gutenberg, Merrily, and Who's Tommy. I think this is a quick category. Do we all want to say it together?
1, 2,
Should we?
3. Merrily.
Merrily. I mean, for literally all the reasons that you was mentioned already, it's like this utter flop turned into this massive hit on Broadway. It's like, how can you not give it
Mhm.
its due?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I loved all 4 of these, but I think Merrily, it's the year for it.
I know, Connor, are you allowed to say Merrily? Like, are you gonna get in trouble? You're working on Tommy.
I'm allowed to say it. Let me.
Okay, good.
I think Tommy should have been nominated for a couple other awards.
I agree.
This season too, but I know. Also, Danny Mefford was not nominated for Dear Evan Hansen's choreography. So, Danny, I want to give you a huge apology for being silly earlier. It was mostly in jest because I think Evan Hansen got like at least 8 or 9, right?
Yeah, it was not.
But no, I love Tommy, and I actually thought Cabaret had a shot based on how well it did in London.
Yeah,
But the way American critics and even audiences have responded to it kind of shocked me. So
yeah,
I thought it was going to be more of a what's it called when it's a two-horse race or what?
sure. Yeah, that's it. 2-horse race. That'll work.
But I think it's Merrily. It's going to be such a glorious moment.
It is.
Oh,
it's gonna be
yeah.
great. Speaking of Who's Tommy, why was it not nominated for lighting? That made no sense to me.
I know.
The whole show is lights.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I know.
I
And I think projections are included in that, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's, I know, bummer.
Bizarre to me. But hey, go off. By the way, have Outsiders winning that category if anyone's curious. Okay. So do we go best revival of a play here? Let's see.
Yeah.
Three plays. Appropriate, Enemy of the People, Pearly. I don't know if anyone wants to start this. This may be a consensus of this group as well.
I do feel it's appropriate.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not convinced.
It's the only one I saw, and I really thought it was a fantastic play, and the production was great. What did you feel though, Eli? You were surprised by my choice.
Well, I have Pearly. I am Pearly. I thought it was so good. And the only way I could see it not winning is, and I've talked about this a lot on my podcast, is like there seems to be a very real thing with like timing of shows in a season. And I feel like this may be one of the shows that could be affected by the timing, in the sense that it closed too early, and I don't know, maybe people forgot about it, or it's not as fresh in people's minds. But I mean, when I saw it, I was like, that's got to be Tony. Like that's the one, right? I loved Appropriate, and I've been a fan of that play for years because I had to read it in school. So
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I love Appropriate, but I haven't seen it though. So I guess maybe I should see it and then say my pick. But
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
have
you're
Pearly.
wrong though. I mean, it has the PBS
Yeah.
professional shot that just came out, the pro shot, and it does pro shot stand for professional shot or production
Yeah,
shot?
I would assume so.
One of the two, maybe. Anyways, and everyone's talking about how the pro shot was brilliant too. And this is one of those categories where historically it doesn't necessarily matter if your show is running or not. I mean,
Right. It went
last
to
year Top Dog was closed.
Yep, and it won.
Jitney won when it was up in like 2016, or 2016 or 17.
Yeah.
So you never know. Yeah.
I love that you have this like little encyclopedic knowledge, Dylan, of like what's
Some
running.
it's selective, but yeah.
I know. I also think, wasn't Enemy of the People kind of so buzzy when it came
Yeah.
out, and now it's not as buzzy, but it's still running, so that has a shot too. And just to be fun, I'll say that's my pick, even though I haven't seen it.
Ooh.
Just to be fun, because
we all three have different.
yeah, I want to be.
Yeah.
There's 3 categories, 3 of us. Let's
No,
just
why
do
not?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, that'll be an interesting category. By the way, all 3 of them very good. So like, wouldn't be
Yeah.
shocked if whoever wins. All right. Well, let's do best play of this 2024 season. We have Jaja's African Hair Braiding, Mary Jane, Mother Play, Prayer for a French Republic, and Dylan's possibly pick, Stereophonic. Not to ruin anything, I do apologize, but the shirt is telling.
It is. And that's my total pick. I think it's going to carry a lot of the play categories on Sunday, but it is one of the best plays I've ever seen in my life. I love it so much, and I definitely think it's going to win.
I think it's gonna win too, and I think it would win Best Musical if it was nominated for Best Musical. But I think it's gonna win. But there were some good plays. There were some good shows. Yeah, I know. I always love when something that did close a long time ago gets in. Like I mean, all the Manhattan Theater Club show. It's almost the entire category is MTC shows, but like Jaja's African Hair Braiding, which closed like in November or October. Like I love to see that, you know, when that gets in. But I do think it's Stereophonic. What do you think, Eli?
I think it's got to be Stereophonic. That probably could have been a all together now moment, but it's got to be Stereophonic. I mean, the buzz continues. It's sold out every freaking night. It's a $400 ticket. It's bonkers. I can't get in. Like, it's like, come on now. So I have to go Stereophonic, and that I saw it at Playwrights and like loved it there. And I also just love when a show like can like be a show on its own and like be a success because of the show and not like a name. So shout out to Stereophonic for like literally coming out of nowhere and dominating Broadway.
Period. Yes.
Big fan of that. So bonus points for me there. Gotta go with it. Dying to see it, by the way. We'll make it happen.
We got to make it happen for you.
We will.
Yeah.
I have ideas.
I love this shirt. I love it.
Yes.
Great. All right, let's get into the last and final category that we'll chat about here tonight. Let's do best musical here. I feel like this may be one we can chat about. We may have some dialogue.
It feels like a toss-up.
It does feel like a toss-up. So we have Hell's Kitchen, we have Illinois, we have The Outsiders, we have Suffs, and we have Water for Elephants. What are we thinking? I don't know. It feels like a toss-up. There feels like there's a clear winner, but there also feels like I don't know if I want to fully like be like that. I don't know. What's
Yeah,
everyone thinking?
I truly have no idea.
Really?
And I think about it every other day. Like, I mean, I definitely think it's between Hell's Kitchen, Suffs, and I don't know what a third. Yeah, I could see Suffs winning.
Outsiders. It's gotta be
I
the
know,
third.
I know. I just I don't know.
I just feel like so Hell's Kitchen was like the most nominated musical. The Outsiders was obviously very up there too.
Mhm.
I just feel like with a lot of nominations and like things going on and being recognized within the show helps make the show. And so like I feel like it's kind of between Hell's Kitchen and the Outsiders because of that. But like low key, can Illinois or like Suffs or Water for Elephants upset? I kind of loved Water for Elephants, by the way, and I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I kind of loved it.
We had a great time as well.
I know. I
Yeah.
liked it too. To answer what you're saying, I think Suffs has a shot. I really do, especially because like when you're thinking about like who the voters are, like a part of the voting body, I feel like they love a show like Suffs. You know, it feels like a little more classic, but with a catchy score, an important story, all female cast, all written by the same person. Like it's pretty cool. And
Mhm.
for some reason, I just have it produced by Hillary Clinton and Malala. Like I really just feel like it has so much going for it that I think it could win for sure.
Wow.
But for some reason, I have a feeling Hell's Kitchen is gonna win, even though I don't think it is the best musical of the season. I think like enough. There's so much momentum behind it, and Alicia is calling the nominators before they nominate. She's doing things for the voters. She's showing up. No, that's true.
Yeah.
She called every single
She's
nominator
been heavily
before.
involved.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not
Mhm.
kidding. She called every single one. It was by the books,
Yeah.
but she really
Yeah,
made
yeah.
sure that Hell's Kitchen was on their mind, which is a tactic.
I
So
will say I thought I was very surprised that their score was not nominated because Alicia has been heavily involved and very good for Broadway.
I know.
And we love that. We love to see
I think
that.
it's because did you know it's a jukebox musical, Eli?
Well, yeah, but like jukebox have been nominated before, I feel, right?
I
think
don't know.
there's
I think
enough.
a certain percent of it has to be original, and then the rest of it
Okay.
has to be or can be from something else. Like
Frozen.
trying to think of
Didn't
Frozen
Frozen
was
have
an
enough
example of
new
that.
songs?
I think that's like an example of that. Yeah.
The Grammys don't care about that, right? Because I
No.
feel like I feel like
Yeah,
they're
no, they don't
always
care.
like
They don't care. Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
like Pop Divas musical, they win. Like I'm
Exactly.
like, okay.
Right. So true.
I agree though. I've seen so much like word on this or heard a lot of word on the street and people talking about how much Hell's Kitchen is really like affecting audiences and voters. And maybe I went in, it was like, I don't know. I went in feeling maybe a little bit like, oh, like, is it going to be? And I normally am not like that, but there was just something missing from Hell's Kitchen. And I know I've kind of like hinted at it throughout this conversation for me, but I kept saying to Connor, like, it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, but is it a duck? And like, as far as like a musical, and granted, we have shows this season like Illinois that many are saying it's not even a musical. It's, they're not really singing to each other. But in its form, it is. And I think that that's where it succeeds in that way. Hell's Kitchen misses the mark for me. And I might be a lone person. I might be an outsider,
No,
in
you're
saying
not.
that.
Oh my.
But yeah. But it just, there was something, I don't really know how to properly say it. There was just something missing, in my opinion. And I wonder if it had an original score that would have been better for me. But it wasn't for me. But I wouldn't be surprised if it won.
Okay. So is that your pick? Is Hell's Kitchen the one you're rolling with?
Because I want to put this juju into the world, I think I want Suffs to win, even though Outsiders is my favorite.
Oh, okay. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Connor.
I'm going with Outsiders.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, and I think it has a shot.
I know. I'm with you. I have Outsiders on my sheet, but I just have such a hard time doing that best new thing. Like, it's like a musical, or it's a movie. Like it's an adaptation, y'all. Like it's not. I don't know. I think for the sake of like what I think is gonna win, I think it is The Outsiders. I do.
Oh,
I do. Um,
I love that so much.
me too. I hope it's
yeah,
not
I would love to see Suffs win. I would, or even like anyone, obviously. But I do think it's gonna be Outsiders. I have to say, I just saw Great Gatsby, and I don't know if it's because I just saw it that it's like fresh on my mind. I thought that was like the definition of Broadway. Like I
It was
was
so
like,
epic.
it's so big, it's so everything. You know, I was just like, this seems like Broadway, and this is nothing against like some of these other shows that are nominated, but I was like, I don't know. I felt like Gatsby was more Broadway than some of these other shows that kind of got the attention of the Tony voters this year. So I was a little surprised about that. But
Yeah, I was surprised Gatsby didn't show up in more categories. I mean, what more could you want when you buy a ticket to see a show? You have Jeremy Jordan and Eva Noblezada belting this glorious love ballads. You know, I truly felt like it was an event when I was at Gatsby.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't know how this set like didn't get anything. There's fireworks going on. There's chandeliers. It's big. Like it's loud. Like I was like, this seems like expensive, like Broadway, like quality. Like I feel like you can't get that sort of quality anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it only got in with costumes, which was interesting. Yeah.
I know. It was just such a big year with
It was.
so many shows. And the nominators obviously loved a few of them. You know, they loved Hell's Kitchen. They did love Outsiders. They loved Stereophonic. And they loved Merrily. You know, like so it's like with me saying Tommy should have gotten into more places. Like it's interesting to think about, like, if it was a less crowded season, what else could have?
So true.
You know, I'm glad Here Lies Love got in a few spots. I'm sad for like How to Dance in Ohio. What else?
Harmony,
was totally
Once
snubbed?
Upon a One More Time.
Harmony.
You know, there was a lot of fun shows this season. So
I know, it was so fun.
Once Upon a One More Time. Oh my god, I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
Love that. That was
Eli,
like
we were pulling hard for a best choreo. We wanted best choreo.
Oh
for
my
Once Upon a One
god,
More
yes.
Time.
Justin Guarini could have been nominated. He was so good.
Wait, has he done your show?
No, he is not.
No. Oh,
okay.
You'd love him.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Oh, you guys did him right.
He was during the pandemic, so I think that's probably how we were able to snag him.
No one was doing anything. Why was that for? What was it for? Was he promoting?
We just wanted to.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like people. Yeah, nothing was happening. So
I miss when we booked guests just because we wanted to. Now it's always like, what's playing on stage, and like people would want to hear from. Like pandemic was fun for that because it was just like, who do we want to talk to? And who wants to talk to us?
It was great because everyone was saying yes because they had no conflicts. I was like, great.
And when I didn't hear from them, I'd be like, okay, well, we're all in quarantine. So what are you doing? You don't want to. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding. Dylan's mad at me right now.
No, I think you're being fun.
Mental note. No, it's great.
But yeah, I know. Even as we're sitting here, though, I'm like, what is going to win? I don't know. I'm going to be like holding my ballot in my wine glass on Sunday. Like, what's winning?
My wine glass.
And that's the last one, right? Is that the end of the night?
That's it.
Okay.
Craziness. Wow. It's gonna be so fun. Like you said, it's been a massive season. I'm excited. There's a lot of content, or I guess like entertainment and things that can be referenced to on Sunday. And I know Ariana DeBose will kill it in whatever she does because she always does. So the fact that there's so much to go off of, I'm so excited for that. Tonys are this Sunday, as I mentioned. And so everyone should watch it on CBS. And I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? I do want to do, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do you have anything else you want to talk about first? And then we're going to do a bit of a taste of drama, the drama podcast.
I don't think. Dylan, what do you think?
No, this has been so much fun, Eli. You're amazing at what you do.
This is a blast.
Thank you for entertaining my lunacy.
No, it's so good. I'm here for it. It's so good.
Thank you.
I love it. And thank you guys for coming on and doing this with me because I do enjoy just talking theater because I don't get to like actually like I don't know, be a critic, kind of like we were talking about.
Yeah.
And not just like chat theater. Very fun, very always with you guys, especially. But before we leave, let's give everyone a little taste of what the drama podcast is. Why don't you introduce what you do at the end of every episode for the listeners?
Yeah,
Dylan, do
so
you
we
wanna do
end
it?
each episode with a dose of drama, which is sort of just a way to sort of catch on whatever's going on in pop culture in the moment, and also talk about something that might be something that the guests might not normally talk about, because we're talking about their career or whatever show they're in. This is what they're maybe watching, what they've seen recently, what they're really into, what they're reading, or just like if they want to spill tea about anything that they've ever done. And sometimes people do take that route. Eli, I want you to go first.
Got it. Let's do it. All right. So my daily dose of drama is the fact that we're not getting Joy Wood's My Day's performance at the Tony Awards. I am so upset about this. The Tonys messed this up because it is the song of the season. I don't care whether there is a better song out there or whatever. It doesn't matter. The one that's like viral this season and like the I don't know kind of banner for Broadway at the moment is My Days.
Yep.
Like and so the performances at the Tonys are always like the best musicals, perhaps best score. Obviously, Notebook was not in either of those categories, so one can assume that Joy Woods will not be performing. And I just think it's a massive miss because if you want to promote Broadway to this large scale audience of people that will be tuning in for Broadway's biggest night on television, reaching the most amount of Broadway viewers or theater fans or whatever, then you should represent it in the best way possible. And I think it's just so sad that that won't be represented that night for the Broadway community, for the Notebook, for Joy Woods, who deserves all of the recognition. So that's my daily dose of drama.
Period. Mic drop.
Amazing dose of drama.
And also, you know what else? If the Tonys is supposed to make people want to go see a Broadway show, that song would make people want to go see the Notebook. And shame on the Tonys for not wanting to drive revenue and income into their own industry. Instead, they are being annoying with their rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, I love seeing all of these renditions on TikTok, but like, if I can see the girl who's like made it what it is, like, let me see her. Like, let me bask in her voice. Like, it's just so freaking good.
I'm upset now.
Shout out to everyone on TikTok though promoting Broadway and the Notebook though.
I know. I've heard a few good covers. It's interesting too because there's been a few seasons where they will give even like 30 seconds to shows. I remember in 2015 they had like It Should Have Been You perform a very brief little snippet. I think it was like 2008 they had Little Mermaid do a little snippet. They had Young Frankenstein do a snippet. Even though they weren't nominated in all the major categories. So why not give 30 seconds, 45 seconds to the Notebook, which my dose of drama is that it wasn't nominated for best musical or best score.
Oh my God.
Totally. Yeah.
I love it.
It is like one of my favorites of the season. And I do listen to it all the time. And it to me, like, I don't know what was going on that day, but it surely was something that should have been more recognized.
Totally.
Swing and a miss, Tony Voters.
Yeah. And if they had Leah Michelle in the cast of Funny Girl perform last year, and a year after the revival was even open, then I know that Joy isn't as big of a star as Leah yet, but one day that there would be that clip going around because Joy is going to be huge. So,
yep. And I mean, to go off this whole, I guess not all of the best musicals and best scores do happen. I remember Finding Neverland did a performance in Jennifer Hudson. Like she wasn't even in our show. Did the performance. Yeah.
It was like previewing it coming to Broadway.
Yeah. So
and then they did do The Number on the Ship. I don't remember what you were in it.
Stronger.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. It was a good choice for what song to do because that was the best one. A lot of people.
I do love that one.
I'm partial to Laura Michelle Kelly's solo song.
All that matters.
All that matters.
Yes. So good. So
Very
good. Okay, well, I
Yeah.
feel like I gave a lot of my doses of drama, the things that are on my mind. Like, I want Ricky Ubeda and Brent Comer to have been nominated for featured actor in a musical. I'm trying so hard to deliver the content here and give you guys some like drama. Let's see. What could I
You're
say? What
crushing
could I
it.
say?
You've
What
given
could
us
I
so
say?
much content with the funnies tonight. It's great.
Oh, thanks. Oh my God. I'm sleep deprived and haven't eaten yet. So I need
Oh my
something.
God. We're wrapping it up
No, it's
here
okay. I
soon.
had like a late lunch, aka like 3 p.m. And then there was free trail mix at my office that I ate, and then I had a tummy ache. So anyway, what is my dose of okay, give me like 10
can't.
seconds here to really get into this. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Let's see.
Dylan,
Let's
we're
see.
having a blast.
Okay, here's my dose of drama. And maybe because I work on the show, I'm feeling dramatic about it. But how can you nominate a show? For example, the one I'm talking about, Tommy, the Who's Tommy. How can you nominate it for Best Revival and then leave out any other category that would make it the best? That is so strange. What? So you're saying like, yeah, we'll nominate the show, but we don't think any of the features in it were like special enough to like point those out. Like, I don't know, that just does that hurts my soul. That hurts my soul. So anyway, that's my drama.
I get that because it's kind of being like, okay, it was good enough, but it wasn't like blown out of the water to be its own category. Like it was good enough to complement the show and do an all-around best revival, but not. Yeah, that is kind of strange.
So weird. I wonder how often that happens. Probably not a lot.
Yeah. I can't imagine. That's
the season's just so crazy, and next season's
It
gonna be
is.
crazier. Like,
It is. Can we
every
talk
day there's
about
a new
Audra
one.
Gypsy? Mothering.
I know.
Let's go.
And Connor and I have never seen Gypsy, like any production ever.
Me neither. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is exciting to be the first.
Perhaps we'll go together. Perhaps
Wait,
we'll
I
We
would
should.
love to make that happen. We need to try and
Yeah,
make that
yeah.
happen.
We totally
need
should.
to.
Yeah.
That'd
Yeah,
be so
yeah.
fun.
That is going to be legendary. I'm so excited. So there's a lot of good things happening next season. But we have this season. We have like 4 more days of this season left till Sunday, and then we can talk about next season. But y'all, this has been an absolute delight, and y'all are the best. Everyone, go check out the Drama Podcast on all your podcast platforms. You can literally go see it anywhere. You can follow them at the Drama Podcast on Instagram and at the Drama Pod on TikTok. Is that right? The Drama Pod, or is it just?
You got it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And we're back tomorrow at 7 for another live show. And we're featuring Eden Espinosa, Joe Serafini, and Trent Soyster. So we are very excited to have another fun live show happening tomorrow. Everyone come back and check us out. Thank you all for watching. And huge thank you to the twins, the Drama Boys, Connor and Dylan for coming on here tonight. You guys are an absolute blast, and everyone enjoy the Tony Awards this Sunday.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, thank you guys. Go eat, Connor.
Wait, I forgot that we were live. I think I've blacked.